Harewood from Supergirl.
Hi guys.
David.
Boy, what is that?
My little rig, make it a little bit easier.
Okay.
To turn his phone into a camera.
Right, okay. That's great.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. What is that we got down there? Oh, right. Flash.
Thank you for being part of DC and DC and speaking with us. We represent the Nerds of Color. We can have a bookmark.
Nerds of Color. I'll take that. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
And Patrick and I are colleagues. He's with New Release Wednesday. We're also representing Black Heroes Matter here this week at DC and DC.
I like that.
And so, just as one of the few African American superhero characters on television, how has that kind of informed your take on John Jones and the Martian Manhunter?
Well, I mean, it's interesting that John has, particularly in the current climate, John has chosen to be black, and one has to ask yourself, if one had the choice, it probably would be easier not to be. But I think he's made he was in our story, he's kind of forced to make that choice. But I think he's grown to love the color, and I think he would now rather change the world as opposed to change his color. It would be so much easier for him to simply just change it and morph into somebody else. But I think that's part of his ongoing struggle, is that he's fighting for justice, and fighting for the oppressed, and fighting for those who don't have a voice. And I think that really ties in very much with what I think John Jones represents, which is somebody that has had his whole peoples wiped out by a race of people who just wanted to annihilate another species. And I think that the horror of that has really made John understand that tyranny of any kind should not be stood for and should be fought against. So that informs me as a character.
And there's a long history of black actors playing the Martian Manhunter. And you're actually acting with one now, Carl Lumbly. Phil Morris played him on Smallville. What is it and I guess that's the connection between that character who wasn't traditionally African American.
I think it was 1965 or in the 60s, late 60s, that the character was changed to be black. And I think it's a really brilliant idea, because I think that chimes in with the whole idea of civil rights. And I think, as I say, Jean very much wants to represent and fight for the underprivileged, the downtrodden. That ties in very much with his idea of what's right, and that people need to be protected, and people need to be tyranny needs to stand up for tyranny.
It's very interesting. People always say, "Oh, if you could only walk a mile in their shoes and see what it was like, different color, etc." And he gets to experience that. How do you think that if he could give his power to other people so they could see that too, how do you think that would affect the world that you work in?
Well, it would change it, wouldn't it? Immediately. That's the one unfortunate thing about our world, is I think there is an enormous lack of empathy, and empathy is the thing that creates understanding, I think. And it's very difficult for people who aren't black to understand racism. They can listen to it, but I find with experience that the more you talk about racism, the less people listen. Because they just don't understand it. They have no powers of empathy. So I think if people could spend a day swapping colours, swapping sexes, we would have perhaps more understanding, and people would be more open to listening and not being so forceful with their own views. And because I think nobody's 100% right. I think we're all certain shades of wrong, and the more we realise that, the more we understand that, I think the better the world will be, because I don't think any one person, idea or belief should dominate the world. I think that's what's beautiful about the world, is that there are just so many different ideas and so many different people. I just wish that was understood more.
I wish we could see a storyline like that. Maybe he gets the ability to give that to a few
That'd
people.
Be interesting.
Would that be great?
That'd be interesting. I'll mention that.
There you go.
Actually, Paula, you're a friend of mine, so maybe I'll tell Paula.
You got another question?
What has been your favorite line to shoot?
My favorite.
Like line or scene or just point of being in this?
Well, I think the reveal when he first revealed himself as John Jones, because I think the audience didn't quite know who he was. And
Very excited about that.
Reading stuff online, oh, it's this guy, oh, it's this guy, it's this guy, and then when I watched some videos on YouTube the next day, and people were literally jumping up and down when it was the Martian Manhunter, because we haven't seen him in this shape before. So I'd say that was my favourite. The reveal was my favourite moment. Okay, all good? Anything else?
I'm trying to think of one right at the moment. I'm sitting across from David Harewood. This is amazing.
I don't want to hog that.
Can you just talk about the importance of being here this weekend and just, obviously this entire event's kind of talking about representation, not just in comic books, but on TV. And so what's just the importance of being here this weekend on MLK Day weekend? Just talk a little bit about
It's enormously important for me as a black Brit. I mean, I feel quite honoured being part of this group, because obviously I'm not African American, but as a black Briton, it's been Americans. I've always looked up to Americans, particularly black Americans. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Paul Robeson, Harold Belafonte. The whole civil rights movement started here, and as a black Brit, it's the black Americans who have always guided me in terms of heroism and fighting for civil rights. So, as well as Mandela and other figures, but I think primarily it's been the black Americans who have led that way. So it's tremendously an honour for me to be here on MLK Day. And a couple of miles away from where he did his famous speech, it means an enormous amount to me to be here, and I think again as a black Briton, to see the sheer amount of shows, black shows that are happening here now, not all of which have been successful, but it's great that you've got Black Lightning coming out now, you've got black representation right throughout television. Ava DuVernay in terms of directing. It's an exciting time. I'd say we're still probably about 10 years behind in Britain. Although we do have a new generation like John Boyega coming through and Daniel Kaluuya coming through, so that's tremendously exciting that the younger generation is getting an opportunity. But certainly when I was growing up, those opportunities really weren't there for me. So I would say that America is, with Homeland and now with Supergirl, has given me a tremendous step up, and so I'm tremendously grateful that the industry has allowed me my own form of expression here. So it means a lot to me.
My last question, but if there was a minority character you haven't gotten to work with yet that you'd like to come from the universe to work with, who would that be?
A minority character?
From the greater DC universe that you haven't gotten to work with.
Well, again, I'm not really that familiar. I grew up reading Marvel.
It's second person.
so I'm kind of I'm finding the whole DC world really exciting, and so I'm sure there are characters out there that I need to get across and see. So.
We need a crossover with you and Mr. Terrific and Cisco and everyone to just kind of come together.
That'll be good.
Just form your own Justice League. Last question about representation. Speaking of those characters, why is it that the CW universe has been able to showcase so many characters of color as superheroes? Because if you look at the films, we're finally getting Black Panther on the film,
and it's going to be huge.
And it's going to be huge. It's already huge.
Yeah.
But TV has kind of led the way in terms of your character, Cisco, Iris West, and all of the characters in the universe. Black Lightning, of course. Why is TV the one that's leading the way and not the films?
I really don't know about that. I think obviously there's so much more money involved in movies, and I would say the risk has always been greater, perhaps, with movies. And what I hope is that the success of movies like Black Panther and will break that ceiling, and that people will say, yeah, we need to have more black heroes represented in movies. Because for years I grew up with the idea that black movies don't work. Movies with black leads don't work. They don't make any money. That's what we were always told. But that seems to be changing now, and there seems to be an ever-growing demographic audience out there for black content. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.